Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, a podcast about playing games together. Whether that means co-op games or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time, it doesn't matter how, it only matters that it's together. Because if you save together, you stay together. This is episode 5?
Yes.
All right. The topic for today is Secret World Legends. Or is it The Secret World Legends? I think it's just Secret World.
Up for debate.
Secret World Legends.
Yeah, me too. I think that is the case.
I'm Craig McGowan. That is my lovely co-host.
Grace Novak.
You like turn that
I'm Grace Novak.
you like turn that accent on just for
I
your
don't
name
know what
part.
accent that is.
Yeah, it's your Novak
It's
accent.
the Novak. Yeah, it actually is. It's true.
That's good. That's a very good accent.
Thanks.
What have you been playing in other than the topic?
Secret World Legends. Mostly Xenoblade 2, pretty much,
Yeah.
primarily. I'm into this thing where I try to only play one game at a time, but it can be hard. But I've really only been playing Xenoblade 2 for
That's
the
a lie.
past,
We picked up
I'm
Rocket
sorry?
League. We
That's
picked up
different.
Rocket League again.
That's different. Oh, we
That's not
only played
different.
that for like a couple hours, and then I was like, all right, back to Xenoblade, back to work.
Do you consider it work?
No, but it feels like, I get very dedicated to those kinds of games where I want to collect all the things and do all the quests, so...
Do you have a favorite blade?
Do I have a favorite blade? To explain, if you're not playing this game, your blades are basically
It's
your
like
party members.
It's like your Pokemons.
Basically your Pokemon / party members / slash
Yeah,
that's it.
I guess.
I do. I'm not sure. I really like Boreas.
Boreas.
I also like the ice chick, Ursula,
The
with
one?
the bear.
That's
She's
not
a
the
small
one, right?
girl
That's not the
with a bear.
the one.
I don't know. Oh, no,
That's
not the
not the one, the
not
one.
the one.
Yeah.
And I like the demon man. I forget his name every time.
Wolfric.
Yeah.
Wolfric.
Yeah, he's dope.
I like to put a V on the W because he seems like he'd be German. I don't know why.
No,
Hello.
that makes sense.
I am Wolfric.
He's got a cool side story, and he's pretty powerful.
I think he
so
just wants people to like him.
That's exactly it. Don't we all? We can all relate to Wolfric.
Yeah.
You know, we look
All
like
of
big
us.
scary monsters, and
Really, we just
that's why
wanna
people don't
help
understand
people.
us.
Wow.
What have you been playing?
The same thing.
Oh, the same game. That's funny. That's funny. I didn't know.
But I also got steep because, as you know that I like extreme sports video games, and that is one. It was supposed to be coming to steep to. Oh boy, that's not the right answer. It's supposed to be coming to Switch, but then I haven't heard anything about it in about a year. No, was it E3 this year?
I don't remember.
I think it might have been the Switch reveal event. So roughly a
yeah,
year,
they had talked
and
about
they
it.
have said nothing. And seeing the way some stuff is performing on the Switch, like Doom, I think it runs respectably, but it's not like,
I thought things were doing pretty well.
too. I don't
don't
think
see
things
why
are
they
bad.
wouldn't decide to put Steep on the Switch. That doesn't make sense.
So, but I'm just thinking,
So they really haven't said anything since that reveal.
someone said like, yeah, it's still coming, but
but
but,
you'll
like-
never know when.
yeah. And
Because
so
no one
at
seems
this
to
point,
care.
I was like, and I had a whole thing with GameStop. You want to get into that?
No, I
Yeah.
don't. Don't go to
So I
GameStop.
had money
I don't support
that I
them.
needed to spend at GameStop, and I bought that because I was like, well, it's time, and it's fun. It's
That's good.
it's pretty easy. So like, it's kind of just a fun game to put on while I'm like watching a stream or watching a movie.
It's
or
really
something.
pretty. I watched you play for a bit. I think it's like really nice to look at. So as far as like an extreme sports game, like even I wouldn't mind playing it for a little bit, even though I'm really not into those kinds of games. Just because looking at yourself like skiing down a pretty mountain in the sunlight is nice. It's a good chillax kind of game.
It's really cool that director's mode is in there. It has like, you can change the time of day, you can change the atmosphere, which I think is like fog and stuff and like clouds. But I don't know. I like it. It's fine. They added grinding, I think, with the new Olympics expansion, and that was missing from the beta. I had played the beta, and when you couldn't grind in a snowboarding and skiing game about doing tricks, that's a red flag.
Right.
But maybe we'll do an episode on that someday. No, we won't.
No, we won't.
Maybe I'll do a solo cast on it someday.
His
called-
extreme sports podcast.
Yeah. But it's good. You guys can come over and play.
Yeah, you're all invited.
Well, shit, let's get into it. Let's talk about A Secret World and its legends. Secret World Legends. Originally came out as The Secret World. That's why I always get fucked up. on July 3rd, 2012. Okay, and it was developed by Funcom and it was published by EA. And it was I think it was still an MMO. On July 31st of last year, now at this point when we're recording this, in 2017, they rebranded it and relaunched it as Secret World Legends. And as far as I could tell when I was looking up just some background information, EA has nothing to do with it now. It became free to play with incentives like cosmetics and in-game currencies and like skill ability points or like boosts like that. Not only that, what I don't understand, this game has a bunch of spin-offs, okay?
Oh,
So it has
other
the
games?
yes, it has The Black Watchman in 2014.
Are these PC games too?
I think so.
Okay.
I actually didn't look into what they are because they weren't important for the
They don't sound
subject
very
of our.
important.
But so well before I get into the spin-offs, the game has kind of an atmosphere you don't really see a lot in video games. It's not like a fantasy MMO. It's kind of a I don't know.
It's like a modern, also like cyberpunk
It's
almost.
sort yeah, it's like a cyberpunk supernatural Cthulhu Lovecraftian Walking Deady.
Yeah, but more importantly, I think most MMOs are not like this. They're not in this space in this setting. They're mostly like medieval or
Yeah.
fantasy. This is like more modern.
This is like today
right.
sort of. I mean, you go to like yeah, I guess you
Tokyo.
still go to like yeah, you go to Tokyo,
You know,
Egypt.
New York, Egypt.
But so just to talk about the spin-offs real quick, The Black Watchman, it was an alternate reality game. I didn't look up too hard into these. In 2014, alternate reality game, and also on Steam in 2015, and it also that game itself spun off into two other games. So there's
So
already
spin-offs from the spin-offs.
3 games based on this 2 games if you count these as 2 different games. Then there was The Park, which is an experimental horror thing that Funcom made, and that I think went to PS4. I think you can play that on there.
Never heard of any of these things.
2015 in October. That exists based on the world, I guess.
Wait, it's called 2015?
No, it's The Park.
Oh,
It
sorry.
was in 2015. Then there's Hide and Shriek, a 1v1 competitive multiplayer game set in the Secret World universe in May of 2016. Oh no, that's when they announced it. Sorry, and it was launched in October of 2016. And then
So these
Secret
games
World,
only have so much to do with Secret Legends as
They're
they're in
just-
the same world.
yeah, but it's still like kind of crazy that this thing that I don't think a lot of people know about this game.
I had not heard about it before we were trying to find MMOs that were free to play.
I knew about The Park and I knew about this game from before it was free.
I think I'd heard about it as like there's this weird MMO out there that you have to do a lot of like it's very different in its quest types.
You didn't level up for a while, I think, in the original. Like
Oh,
there
really?
was no levels. You just
yeah.
go.
It seemed more experimental,
Also, there was a Secret World TV show.
like a live action one.
American film production company Infinite Nihil announced production of a television series in August of 2017. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about
Oh,
Secret
so
World
it hasn't
Legends.
happened yet.
No.
Oh.
Well, still, that's crazy.
Well,
this
damn.
one thing,
It's coming.
this weird universe has all these spin-offs and TV shows
It
and
doesn't feel like it
comic
deserves
books.
it.
It does.
Besides it's
It
cool,
does. It does in the sense that it's unique.
but it doesn't in
in
the
the
sense
game
that I don't
sphere.
think it has an audience.
However, yeah, it doesn't have an audience, and that uniqueness is aided by the fact that it's actually just doing, like I said, Lovecraft. Some stuff's Lovecraftian. Some stuff is like The Mummy. Some stuff is like Walking Dead. There's a whole section of New England that's like pretty much just Walking Dead. It's just
it
zombies
seems
everywhere.
like it's like a horror kind of
They like combined a bunch of horror genres.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's an original thing. There's nothing that's totally original here, at least in far as what I mean.
Yeah, it feels like a big melting pot of stuff.
That's kind of being defeatist, or not. That's not the right word. That's kind of shrinking down. There is some original thoughts here. I'm not saying they totally ripped on it. Like there's
Right.
the Orochi. They're like the bad government kind of
right.
like agency. Let's go down the plot points. Not the plot points. The co-op factors, like we do here on Saves Together. Every game we talk about, we kind of run down a list of stuff and sort of. I don't know why we do this, but I really like it. So
you don't know why we do
it.
it? I think it helps to evaluate a game. Like
Right.
You know, that's why we do it.
And it spurs conversation, not just because we
That's
do
right.
it. Type of co-op: couch, online, split screen, same screen,
MMO.
MMO
I think
type.
it's its own thing.
Yeah. I remember you could not trade until level 15, and that was pretty much the only downfall of
Free to play.
the free to playness.
Right. And I don't even know if you do pay as far as like I know there's a Patreon or patron. I don't know what they call
Patron,
their
yeah.
system, but you can pay monthly. I don't even know if that gives you that trading ability earlier on. But you to be honest, the way the game works, you don't really need trading that
Yeah,
much.
I think
we don't trade.
we've put in a lot of hours. We're about 40, level 40,
Yeah.
I'd say, and we traded one time.
More than once, but
Mostly
like
it's
3
just that
times.
axe
But
that I
still,
gave you.
it was very.
Yeah.
It was not that many times.
Shared loot XP. So like
No shared loot.
well, it seemed to me like every time. Oh no, that's a lie. I was gonna say every time something dropped, we both got.
Okay, well, in the sense that yeah, but we don't get the same things.
No.
It'll drop something.
If something drops, it's on your side. You
Right, it's
pick
on
it
your
up,
side.
and I don't even see it.
Right, yeah.
Um,
So it's like a weird loot system, especially because there isn't a lot of loot. Like the loot system is very unique to that
yeah,
game.
we can. Let's talk about it now. There's not really like you're not swapping equipment a lot.
Right. You're picking equipment and you're leveling up your equipment with other equipment you pick up. Basically like you're fusing equipment together constantly to
Yeah.
level up equipment you already have. And eventually you trade into something that's better. Like I mean the way World of Warcraft and most MMOs work is you have like tiers of equipment or items and it's similar in this except it's kind of complicated because you can level up lower tiers of items into higher tiers by fusing them with like the highest level of that tier's item. It's complicated. We didn't understand it for the longest time.
But once I got a grasp on it, I liked it. However,
I don't like it only because it's a little boring. It doesn't
does-
feel like there's a
that's
lot of
exactly-
like customization. Your character doesn't change. Like something I really like about MMOs and games in general where you level up and have equipment is when you change your look based on what you're wearing. You can change cosmetics in this game, but it does not.
There's a ton of
Yes.
cosmetics.
It doesn't change based on what you have equipped though, and that's a little disappointing to me. And the thing about the cosmetics is also most of them is with like actual money, so you do have to like most of them. Some of them you get from like quests or seasonal stuff, and some of them you can buy with just the in-game currency, but most of them are with yeah, you have to pay for like gold bars.
Would you like it better if there was like a? So I really like the clothing options. Like I think
I
that's
think the
really
clothing
fun.
options are cool and
but
different.
I agree that it makes that's all like almost a side thing in itself to do that. Like you
Mhm.
don't it doesn't matter. You don't have to do it. So it doesn't
But I'm
that
glad it's there.
the equipment and stuff doesn't help the gameplay in any way because I'm not like looking for a new sword. I
Well, it helps the gameplay in that if you're not leveling up your equipment, you're not gonna.
no the clothing that
Oh, you mean
makes me I'm not
cosmetics.
going hunting for like I want cooler
Right.
shoulders. I want better I think that I equipped myself with like a pretty decent thing and have only fused and fused and fused. You know, like my
Right.
pistols that I started with, I've never swapped pistols. I've just fed bad other weapons into them.
Right.
So,
So
yeah,
eventually you'll have to swap. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
you can only level it up so high, and then you need to find or buy a better tiered weapon, or fuse to make.
Because there's
better tiered
rarity or
weapon.
whatever, like green, blue,
Right, that's what I
red,
mean by
and
tier.
also there's
level.
there's 1, 2, and 3 dots on the bottom that tell you how good
right.
it is.
And
It's a
then there's
weird-
also level.
Yeah. So
which is 1 through 20.
oh yeah.
It's
As
like a
you're
Russian
fusing,
nesting doll of weapons.
Yeah, yeah.
and equipment.
I don't mind it, but I definitely don't think it.
It's not
I
my
don't.
favorite.
It's not my favorite or something. I don't. It doesn't help the game in any way though. Like it's not like driving me to play. What was driving me to play was it was kind of fun, but we'll get there. Is there friendly fire? Oh wait, nope. Sorry, we didn't talk about shared XP. Yes, as you're killing stuff, I'm getting XP as we're cashing in quests.
As long as you're in the same party and
Oh, yeah,
close enough
right.
together on the map,
I-
and it will let you know.
And the reason this is a category that I want to talk about is some games don't do that, and it drastically impacts the enjoyment for me because it's like we have to do stuff double. We have to like there's no point in being in a party if you ask me. If the
Right.
game's not gonna let you do stuff together, you know
Right.
that's not fun. Friendly fire. Can you hurt each other? I don't think there's
No.
PvP.
There's probably PvP. We
I
just
don't know
never
if I
tried
ever-
it.
We just never ran into it though either.
I-
I don't know if I saw a menu for it. It's probably in there.
I think it is. There's so many menus in that game. I think its UI needs some help a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think there's PvP. We just
Well,
haven't tried it.
The UI is probably designed around the idea where when you move the mouse, you're moving
Your head.
you're moving your cursor of your crosshairs of your weapon.
Yeah,
So like
right.
you have to hit alt to get off the mouse. We're playing on PC. I think it might be
I
on
think that's only on
might
PC.
be only on. You have to hit Alt to go into like mouse mode, so you can click stuff around the screen,
Like menu mode.
like menu mode, and then hit Alt to go back into like. So
Feels
maybe
slow.
maybe they designed the UI knowing like you have to menu into other stuff and some of it.
I
don't
think
know.
what's also an issue is just there's so many menus, and a
Yeah.
lot of them I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
And I just never learned because it's just
And,
it's
like,
a lot.
At the bottom of the inventory, or not inventory, the equipment screen where you see all the stuff you've got equipped, there's a kind of like a 4 bars that are like your sprint, your pet, your cosmetic. Like,
Right.
like I didn't even click those for a long time to know they were there because they were kind of
And
small.
I don't know how to tell how much EXP I have at any moment. The EXP bar is very
Yeah.
confusing because it's also telling you when you're going to get
Oh,
your next
you're
skill
right.
point and different kind of skill points. And in WoW, it makes sense. You can totally
you
understand.
fill a bar, right?
Right,
In
it's
WoW,
just
I
fill a
assume
bar
you
from
fill the
left to
bar.
right
When it's
of the
filled,
screen.
you leveled up.
But it looks like in Secret World Legends, it's irrelevant whether it gets to the end of the screen or not. It's more like marked by little colored markers. and-
It almost looks like a compass on like Skyrim,
Yeah.
where it's
It's
like
weird. I don't even look at it. I just forget. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll level up eventually.
Right. separate mode or full. It's the full thing. It's an MMO. The co-op progression. Is there things to unlock?
A little bit. You unlock lore,
Yeah.
which is essentially like, I mean, it's lore. It's lore to the game. Like, you pick up lore by either like killing rare monsters around the map, or doing specific quests, or just finding it
Yeah.
around the world.
The progression is sort of seeing the story unfold together because there's
Right.
there's cutscenes, a lot of them.
A lot of cutscenes.
I
There's so
don't-
much voice acting. It's
A lot of voice
surprising.
acting. Yeah.
This game-
Most of the cutscenes are sort of just a talking head type of thing. Like it's just a camera
Kinda.
focused on a guy talking and maybe
Usually.
moving a little bit. But once in a while, you get a cool one where
Yeah.
someone's doing some shooting and swording.
There's a lot of cool quests in this game for sure.
Definitely the driving factor for me to keep playing was, I had fun playing it. The way the shooting worked was pretty fun. Like you don't have to aim like so much as a headshots or arm shots, body shots. That doesn't matter. You just get your cursor over the monster and click, and that's how you attack.
Right. I mean, it's like every other weapon in the game. There's classes. So I use a hammer and a machine gun, and you can switch it up. I think I started with a hammer and a katana for my class. I
There's
think
not
it's
even-
Demolisher.
yeah.
There is a class,
There's
but it's
classes,
kind of
but-
irrelevant at some point.
Yeah.
It just, I guess, guarantees your starting stats and starting weapons. But yeah, no matter what weapon you're using, either way, you don't really have to aim besides making sure your cursor's on the enemy.
And on the ground, you'll see when an enemy's about to do a big attack. They're always auto attacking, and you kind of can't do anything about that damage. It's just up to your stats to take not too much damage or possibly dodge. But you can see, like, let's say he's going to do an AoE that's a full circle. A circle will appear around him on the ground, and then that circle will fill up like another circle will grow to the size of the other
It's
circle,
casting.
and you have to get out of that circle or else
Right,
you'll
you
get hit.
can dodge in the game,
then
which is
there's-
kind of unique to an MMO.
Neverwinter had that, and that was why I played Neverwinter, because it was like, oh, this is fun.
It
feels
makes
like,
it more engaging
Yeah.
for sure.
So that's why I kept playing. Was like was pretty engaging, like you say, but also the lore was. I was like, let's see what happens when you get to New York. It's all about these like underground gangs of like vampire hunters and demon
Right.
hunters and whatever. Drop in, drop out. It's an MMO.
So yes.
So yes, logging off. I've never understood this, and do you know why? Why does it say logging off in 15 seconds, but you can always just hit exit now?
Maybe because you accidentally logged off, and it's like, hey, you press this
Who-
button and you didn't mean to. Because it could be a hotkey too. You can make it a
Is
hotkey
it?
to log out.
I guess. It seems like all MMOs do this.
Yeah, it's
and it's
true.
only MMOs.
Maybe they're like, are you sure you want to log out?
Yeah, is that what it is? And it's.
Maybe you want to
I was
stay.
thinking maybe it's a server thing. It's like we
Maybe.
don't want the server load of everyone quitting right away, but you can just hit exit now, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Difficulty of the co-op.
It can be pretty difficult.
I don't think it was that difficult.
I had some difficulties sometimes. It's hard, and I think that this comes down more to it's hard to understand what you need to upgrade and what you need to, what skills you need to use. You can only have 6 skills equipped at once, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
skills in the game, a lot of attacks. So it's a little frustrating understanding like what the best combination is, and also I don't really like. I kind of get bored of having the same 6 skills. Like,
Which, if you ask me, I think I set my skills about level 15,
or I haven't changed
and
mine
I did
that
not
much
change
either.
them because I liked my setup. Like I was using double pistols, and I would drop a gadget on the ground that would start doing AoE damage if the bad guy was standing in it, and then I would inside that circle I would do this bullet dance where I spin around and look all cool and shoot my bullets in all directions, and then I had a heal, and then I had like a just a like a if I'm fighting one guy, just like a intense attack at him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
And
you get used to what you have equipped, and you're like, you know what, this is fine. I mean, if
but
it's
like
working for you, it's working for you.
exactly, it was working for me, and I liked the setup, and I never got anything cooler. So yeah, I feel like you set your skills. I set my skills so early, and I never change them. Unlike like Diablo, where you get to a certain level, you get a brand new thing, or you get a tweak to that skill that makes it completely different. And I
Hmm.
never really got anything like that.
Yeah.
I guess the incentive is to just maybe try new weapons later or something. I don't know.
I don't think so because it costs real money to also after the first weapon extra weapon you unlock, you have to buy the next one,
Ooh, I didn't.
or it's really
No,
expensive.
it's just really expensive.
Okay, yeah.
Like in the in-game
It
money.
costs more and more and more to like
Yeah.
unlock new weapons.
But which is a cool ability that you can be like, you know what? I'm just not feeling the sword. I'm done with it.
Right.
Even though you're not locked in, even though you picked that at the beginning. Competitiveness of the co-op. I think I put this in if there's any way you can fuck each other over.
I don't think this. I mean, it's an MMO, so it's not really very competitive
Right.
in that way.
Yeah. Well, you could loot, like you could ninja loot people in some things, but
Right.
not possible
Not
here.
in this one.
Strategy and tactics. Did we use any?
Yeah.
While we play?
I mean, for the dungeons,
The biggest example is the Christmas event
hell.
hell boss fight,
Mm-hmm.
where we had to group up with three other people.
Yeah. Some
And
random people.
They taught us like, all right, when she starts to do this attack, get behind a pillar. When she starts to do this attack, just stop attacking, like whatever.
Which is typical for MMOs. Most
Right.
MMOs have raids or dungeons where the boss has a very specific strategy, and that's always really fun.
It
'cause
was
it's
fun.
so different than just fighting trash mobs that have no strategy. It's just like, okay, just kill them, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, and then also the strategy of when I would drop my thing on the ground, then do the thing inside the circle, do my bullet dance.
Mhm.
I know that's not like super strategic or something, but
Well, yeah, it's just how you execute your attacks.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a strategy there.
But nothing ridiculous, but also I did really like that hell fight. All right. So that's the talking points. What do we call that section?
What's wrong with co-op factors?
Oh yeah, that's what we call it. Let's just talk about our experience now.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the game. I think that there's almost too much lore, which feels like a weird thing to complain about, but there's like it's so kind of mired in its story and there's so much there that I think you can get kind of lost and it's like I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's cool. I think one of the coolest part is the setting. It's so different from other games and MMOs I've been playing / have played in the past. So that's what's really cool about it. But yeah, another thing I didn't like is that you really get stuck in an area for a long time. So when you start off, you go and there's so many areas. So we were talking about like Egypt and New York and Tokyo and all kinds of places. But when you first get there, you have to go to New England, and it's like Craig was saying about a Walking Dead kind of town, and it's really cool. And there's a lot of interesting quests and interesting areas to explore. But we really didn't leave there for like a very long time. We were there till like level 25. I think even past that, and then we could go to Egypt. Now we're going to be in Egypt for a long time, and it feels like it takes too long to go to a new area, and you could really lose new players that way who expect getting to go to so many different worlds.
There are 3 different areas inside of New England, but they're
they're similarly
aesthetically
looking.
the same. It's just that this one's on a harbor, this one's on the mountains,
Right.
you know. So maybe they thought, well, they do get to go new places, but it wasn't
Right.
like
It takes a little too long for a game that I feel kind of markets itself as this. You're going into like different realms and they're all very different. Like I was expecting to move on much more quickly than we did, but it's fine. I still think I was having fun enough that it didn't bother me too much.
I know that like once we got to like Egypt or even further along in New England, a sign of a good adventure for me is when we go back someplace and I'm like, oh, remember this? Like I have like almost nostalgia.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I did when we went back to the first starting New England place that was like a police station being attacked, like it was fortified and surrounded and zombies were always attacking. I did sort of get that good feeling of like, oh, we came from somewhere, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about before, but the guns are satisfying. for me, not in a realistic shooting way, but just how fun it is to use those controls to control an MMO. I don't hate like MMO controls or something, but being forced to kind of be a little more active
Right.
is
Than just standing there and letting it
yeah,
auto attack or
auto attack and then just hitting one.
right. I mean, it's almost like that, but with a little more.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's nice.
just the right amount where I don't have to be too skilled with controls, like
Hmm.
it was not some sort of action game. It's just the right balance. If for me, for an MMO, that's the right balance because like I said, the other one that was similar was Neverwinter, and I played a lot of that.
I think even though it suffers from feeling like you only have so many skills you can use, somehow it still keeps you excited about combat, which is weird. I don't know how it manages to do that because I complain about it, but I kept playing and was having fun in the combat nevertheless. So it worked out.
Do you think the fact that we played kind of every night of the week, well,
Oh,
4 nights a
little bit.
week about, and
I would say like
we played
3.
for about 2-3 hours a night. Do you think that helped us where we didn't burn out on it?
I feel like that's a pretty normal way to play a game. That's how you should play.
That's definitely yeah, but
But
some
yeah,
people, especially with MMOs, they go hard.
I don't know. I feel that if you're really into the lore, you won't burn out because there's so much there to see. It'd be hard to get bored of like wanting to find new stories. But if maybe you were
But
just into the combat or the setting, then maybe you would be. I'm not sure.
I think that helped us though a little bit.
Yeah, I
Like
think so.
it was a factor, obviously, of it. It wasn't the only thing, but
Right.
definitely wasn't like all right, I'm done because the length of New England, if we had just played that like over the course of only 3 days,
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been too much. I would have been like,
Right.
we've been here
hard.
for like 18 hours straight. I can't do it anymore. I'm done with
Right.
this game. Are we gonna play more?
I think so. Maybe. If you're interested, I've been noticing that you are mostly interested around the seasonal events now.
Because those are so cool.
They give you a reason to log in, and they're
It's
definitely
daily logins that feel important. The game already has daily logins, but it's usually just here's more money, here's some items to fuse with your stuff, here's
right.
XP.
And you liked getting the new mounts, and they would give you like a free pet and a free mount on the seasonal login, and then they would give you drops that were seasonally based for the hourly raid.
So let's talk about them. The two that we did, the Halloween one and the Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
On Halloween, you log in, you get your login bonus. Then you have a chest that you can't open until you fight the world boss or whatever. What would you call that? Is
Yeah,
that a good
world
name?
boss sounds right. Everyone in
And
the world can fight
every
him.
hour, that boss, the gate opens to go fight that boss on the
Mhm.
hour. So everyone would be lined up outside the gates on the server, and like it was just a little party. I mean, we weren't really in chat or anything, but people were just running around. You're looking at people's costumes, which there's a ton of cosmetics for this game. And then you run in to the gate when it opens, and you fight the boss, and it's really easy. Which
Yeah, it's easy because there's so many people.
yeah, there's like 40, 50 people.
So maybe you'll die, but you just run back.
And it
like
doesn't
you're not gonna
matter.
lose.
Yeah. And it comes down. It boosts you to level 50. Everybody's at level 50.
Right, everyone's at the same level.
You fight that. When you beat it, you get a buff on yourself that allows you to open that chest. You open that chest, and it's usually a cosmetic item or possibly a mount
Or a pet.
or a pet. And I think the Halloween cosmetic items were way more interesting to me. There was some cool ones with Christmas, but Halloween had like, here's a tombstone backpack. Here's a crazy like Nightmare Before Christmas-esque hat. Like
Right.
here's like a pumpkin head. There's a cat with like tendrils, or actually, you know what? That was from the seasonal mission, right? From the seasonal quest.
Pet? I think so. Yeah.
There was also for Halloween, and the two different things between the two seasonal events were the way the quest worked. Everything else was the same, where you line up at the gate, daily logins, blah. But the Halloween quest, we went to a place, there was a graveyard or something, and there was a bunch of cats standing around in a graveyard.
Right. We had
And
to
we-
complete a sort of lore-ridden quest
Yeah.
about cats.
And like these cats we ended up following some cats and going through an adventure with them. And
We eventually fought a boss at the end, and it was similar to the raid boss where we're put up to a specific level so we can fight him, but we didn't need any help.
that one we didn't need help. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, maybe we missed. We didn't really like follow the like meta or whatever. You know what I mean? We weren't looking up what was going on. So so what I mean is, there might have been also another harder raid boss.
Maybe I don't think so because I looked into it. I was
Oh, you
trying to
did?
look into
Okay.
like what was available, and that was it.
Okay.
So in
So
the Christmas
yeah,
one, there was the hourly boss who was hell, and then there was two other, well, actually just one, and it sort of led you to a bigger hell.
yeah. So Hell came back for her revenge.
Yeah, from Krampus.
So there were little mini Krampuses.
And they would just spawn randomly all over the map. And at first we're like, well, this is stupid. We're not gonna go looking for a damn random spawn that spawns
Pause.
somewhere.
You said this is
Well,
stupid. I
because
said,
it sounded
this is
dumb.
awesome. Let's go look for a random
No,
spawn.
it sounded dumb to me. Sounded like a waste of time. And it turns out it just spawns everywhere constantly forever. And it was very easy to find. At first I was like, it's so rare. And then I was like, okay, now I'm annoyed by how many Krampuses there are.
It was funny on the first day seeing the chat, people be like, I've been looking for an hour. There's no Krampuses. This isn't true. And this is the first time we log on. So we're like, oh, this sucks. We're never going to see one. And I was like, wait, what was that? And we see one. We get so excited. We kill it. And then like 5 minutes later, wait, there's another one. And then like 2 minutes later, like, wait, there's another one.
So anyways, that led to a better dungeon boss that we were talking about as far as strategy, like a boss that you really had to coordinate, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I think the seasonal events are like a great little thing that they do.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Like most MMOs.
Definitely. I'm curious if there's like a maybe a Valentine's Day?
I don't think so.
No? It'd be
if
cool
there is,
if it
it'll
was
be
like
smaller.
like a witch casting love spells on people.
You should contact them. Be like, listen, I'm gonna write you a bunch of Valentine's Day themed
at Funcom
quests.
Yeah.
But
Let's see, what would one be? There's a witch casting love spells on people. Your turn.
No.
You could do some Cupid, like an evil Cupid.
I like evil Cupid.
And he's got an arrow, and it's like, I don't know. A couple annoying things. There were these orbs that were just randomly around. That if you ran into them, they touched you, and you got hurt.
I don't understand that. It seemed like a glitch.
What was that?
It was only in Egypt. I mean, I don't think it was. I think it was just this one area. And maybe it was something unexplained that we just didn't listen, and and something was happening, and it should have been happening, but we didn't know. But it just felt annoying because you'd run into an orb, and it would blast you back. But I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, that was strange. And I mean, it's not like that was game ruining, but it's definitely like, what is this? Like, it didn't really make any sense.
There were also issues with my computer crashing.
So yeah, performance-wise.
Yeah.
You crashed
a couple times, and specifically during one dungeon. And
Aztec
then another
guy,
time.
whatever. I don't remember the name of the dungeon, but it was like this Aztec Mayan god, and it was you could beat. There's like a series of 4 bosses. We could beat the first one, no problem. We get to the second one.
Yeah, and I would crash, and it happened twice, so I knew it was that specific.
Yeah, it was like halfway through the fight too. It was like
it was
we're
really
doing
annoying.
That was weird.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, clearly that's also my computer's issue. I'm not gonna lie about that,
right.
But. At every other point, the game was running just fine. So that's what made it strange.
The fact that it was consistent at that part.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's something to do with your computer because mine was
fine.
But
it's also
But it's like something is,
Yeah.
And then the forced solo instances. I was not a fan of those at all.
Apparently in the first game, most of them were forced solo. And then in this one, we were reading that they really tried to increase, like, basically, it's an open world, but you can enter doors or locations, dungeons essentially, and it's like its own instance. And most of the time now, I think we're finding most of them are grouped, so you can enter with your party, but sometimes it's like, oh, you're going in alone, and that sucks because like all this time you're playing together, and then now you have to like navigate this shitty little cave with these awful people and it's the worst. And it's like you don't want to fight alone at that point. So luckily they really did make an effort to make most of them grouped instances now, and I think that reflects pretty true.
But when they were solo, if they were any longer than like 5 minutes,
it was annoying.
It wasn't fun. And if it was like a decently hard fight, we were spec'd kind of to help each other, not to really.
We're used to like fighting together, so we're like, oh, this is hard now.
Yeah. So instead of ending on a bummer like that, we found the museum before we kind of decided to do this episode, so we haven't played for a second. But the museum is this like, you go to London and you go to this secret museum and you can like spend your money, your in-game money, to unlock
pedestals,
which are
and
essentially
wings of the museum.
Yeah, wings of the museum correlating to New England, Egypt, New York, Tokyo, whatever. And you can then fill that pedestal if you've done certain things, like kill this number of enemies, do this mission, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it displays like a statue that you can of like enemy.
A 3D something.
Yeah, and
it's cool.
It was cool, and like.
And each person has their unique museum.
Right. And I really think that's an interesting way of just
like it really provides you a reason to like want to unlock everything,
Right.
especially for me that I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I am 2 pedestals away from filling the New England one. We got to go back and kill some low-level
Right.
zombies. It was like, why? No, let's not do that right now. But
No, it's a cool little challenge, I think.
yeah, so that I think that's a cool feature that.
Also, like unlocking stuff in the museum gives you points to unlock, like buy cool pets or cool cosmetics or
Oh, really?
cool weapons.
You're right. It has the
at
gift shop.
At the gift shop.
I
So
think
that's
that
a cool thing.
most MMOs should adopt something like this. Like if WoW guilds could have a guild museum and it's like showcasing the accolades of that guild.
Yeah, it's like
that would
you
be
went
cool.
to this dungeon and you did this.
Yeah.
That would be really neat.
And I like the idea of it being the guilds museum. I mean, this is a
I like
solo.
I like an individual museum too.
True. I like the guild one though, just in my own brain of thinking of it because it's
I
like
think people
this is
would be
what
into
we
that.
accomplished as a team.
Yeah,
Look at
that
our
would be
look at
cool.
our trophies. Okay, so before we finish,
Uh-huh.
2 questions. 1, what's your rating? I know that you have a very important 1 decimal point, but I have a very important 3. And also, what snacks would you recommend we eat while we play this game?
Okay, my rating is MMOs are weird. I don't really classify them as like normal games because they're just so go on forever. There's never an end, you know?
This is your
With that in
experience. This is a
mind-
rating of your experience.
Yeah,
though.
I know. I'm just saying with that in mind, I'm probably going to give it like it's hard. Probably like a 3.7.
All right. And I'm
I
gonna
feel like
give
I
it-
rated another game with 3.7.
Who knows? Who cares?
That's like
They're
the
not
most
compared.
average
they're
rating.
They're not compared to each other.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a 4.001.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I liked it. It was
Yeah.
fun. I had
It
fun.
was good. Like, I don't think it's like a game for me. I like the setting, but it's also doesn't really fit with the kind of things I like. Like, it doesn't really excite me as far as like lore.
We may go back for the, like you said. I'm only kind of interested now in the seasonal events. I don't
Yeah,
totally
it'd be
wanna go
interesting
back.
to try a new MMO now.
Yes, me. Yes, I agree. I almost said yes, me too, and I realized that's what you're saying. So yeah, let's head into the wrap up and then
Wait,
get on.
we didn't talk about snacks. You asked me about snacks.
Redo.
So the snack that I would recommend, well, the snack that I ate during this game, and this is because I love cookies. I have a tub of cookie dough in my fridge, and now I'm used to like playing Secret World and then getting my cookies and putting them in the oven, and then getting it some tea. Oh, it's lovely.
And listen, I would hear that stupid timer go off, and I
You
would
hear the
know.
timer?
I would know that you have cookies, and I'm over here. I would have like a leftover like Doritos dust or
Is
something.
that your snack of the
No,
choice?
my snack of the choice would be
Snack of the choice.
snack of the choice because it has that Cthulhu vibe. Octopus gummies. You know how they make those gummies?
Oh, does Trolli make those? Yeah,
I don't know.
think
Somebody
that's
makes
Trolli.
octopus shaped gummies. Eat those,
That's a good
and
one.
you'll feel your tentacles going down your throat,
That's gross.
just like Cthulhu's brain
Yes.
suckers. Okay, before we leave, let's talk some news. I've been having personal
Issues.
sleep issues because of the fact that we call this news. And currently we're recording sort of a backlog
Yeah.
just to have some episodes ready before we launch. So it's not really news, but it is news but it's missing the whole, first 3 letters, the new part of news. It's so welcome to the section of the show.
It could be anything up to like games we're looking forward to, which still might be totally like.
I think that could be
relevant.
maybe a separate category at the end here because we could also do the cup, dig from the cup,
Right.
armchair co-op game design. A Way Out, a game we are both looking forward to playing, is coming. It got a date,
Oh, it did.
didn't it?
Oh my god, I'm excited.
Yeah, hold on.
Didn't it? He said, and he
Hold
doesn't
on,
even know.
hold on. Now
Wow.
I screwed up here.
This
I
is
screwed up.
disappointing.
Could have sworn it had a date. Next March.
Next March.
March 28th. Got it. Found it.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's exciting. I really am looking forward to this game. And
That's one I'm super looking forward to playing.
it sounds so. I mean, obviously, besides the developer being like quite a unique character
By now, you probably forgot that's the guy who was like, "Fuck the Oscars"
at the Game Design Awards.
Yeah, I almost called it the EA Awards. I don't know what. That's not
Game
at
Awards.
all what it was. That was, in fact, the shit on EA Awards.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm excited for that game. The way it seems to play with screen size, it's split screen sometimes, and other times.
And that it's based all around being co-op.
And it has to be co-op, yeah. And
It's
what's
cool.
cool is you can play that if we have it on PS4. We only need one copy, and you can play with me without owning PlayStation Plus.
Oh, that's nice.
As far as I understand. Pretty sure I remember hearing that.
But we're gonna do
I'm-
couch.
Sure. I'm just saying that's cool. That's a
Yeah.
good feature because it's a game that you have to play with people, and they're like me. No one I play with has freaking PlayStation Plus anymore.
What do you
Because
mean? Is that
everybody's
true?
growing up. Not everybody, because I've met new
Everybody.
people. I had to find new friends because people like you.
Me?
Yeah.
I play games all the time, Mister.
No,
And
I didn't
I-
say you don't play games.
Oh,
You just don't have PlayStation Plus right now. You
Yeah,
let it
fuck
lapse.
that.
But you will be getting it soon.
We'll see.
There's some stuff coming out. But
We'll see.
But yeah, so I just think that's a really good, smart decision to make to not rely on their kind of bullshit, you know.
Right.
World War Z, a co-op shooter based around that franchise,
Really?
coming out. That
I
they
read
played
the
a
book.
trailer. Yeah,
And I
I-
watched the movie.
I own the book, didn't read it.
Good
Somebody gave it
book.
to
It's
me.
a good book.
You saw the movie?
I did. I liked the movie too, but it was
It
nothing
looks
like
to
the
be
book.
about based on the movie because the trailer was at the Game Awards as well. The piles of zombies moving like water and climbing on each other.
And this is co-op.
Yes, co-op shooter. So Left 4 Dead, I assume. Human Fall Flat. So those two are games we're looking forward to. But here, this one.
I don't know if I'm looking forward to World War Z.
You're right. See, this isn't necessarily. This is why this
Games
is
we have our eye on.
This is
That's
the
what I
s-
was saying earlier. I think
No,
that's a good
this
one.
is the question. The section with two
Okay,
S's.
you need to stop. It's gonna sound terrible.
Human Fall Flat. It's already out, so this isn't really an announcement of it coming out. It's on Switch, and they're adding local co-op, where instead of needing 2 sticks, I've never played this game, so I don't totally know how it works, but it says instead of needing 2 joysticks to play each, you only need 1. You can slide the Joy-Cons off and play that way. I'm actually interested in trying that.
That sounds cool.
So another thing, when I said I was having a dilemma about this section that we call news, I also don't want to just talk about the obvious, like we say games we got our eyes on. I don't want to just talk about, like, obviously, Payday 2, you know?
Well, that's
Like
not
the big
obvious. I'm
ones?
not interested in Payday 2.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, there's some big ones coming. Monster Hunter. Like,
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. You know, don't
the
worry
mixed
about
bag.
if people
I
think
like-
we should have mentioned something that we didn't.
Well,
You know, this
it's
is
not
our...
about mentioning what we didn't. It's about just, I don't want to just run down a list of things.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's not gonna be
I
happening.
want to try to find some things that maybe people didn't know about.
Right.
So,
No, I like that.
okay.
But it has to be things that are interesting to us, in
Oh, yeah,
my
I mean-
opinion.
Well, there's that game GTFO. Remember that trailer?
No.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yes
Yeah.
I do.
I'm interested in that, but I don't think you are at all. That's why I wasn't going to bring it up,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's good.
I'll probably force you to play that on video, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll see. And the last bit of news here before we leave: Star Trek Bridge Crew. You know that game?
The VR game.
The VR game. Except, however, you can't call it that anymore. It's playable without VR now.
It could be still called a VR game, Mister.
I know. I was just.
You're just transitioning.
You ruined it.
It was poor.
You ruined it. Well, that was the exciting bit that I was going to transition like that, and
Now it's not exciting.
but it's losing the VR mode. Not losing. You can still play it in VR, but it's now playable outside of VR, which I think it's a good move. I mean, it sucks for what that means for VR.
On PS4,
Hold on.
I don't think it sucks for what it
Scanning.
means for VR.
Yes, it does. Anytime VR loses in a sense, like, hey, you have to have VR, it's not a good sign for VR.
We'll see.
I'm not saying it's
We'll
the death
see.
nail, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Death nail.
I think that it could also pull people in the VR. If they play something on their PS4 and like, you know what? I wonder what this is like in VR because they're actually playing it. You know, maybe it's the
Yeah.
opposite. It could have the opposite effect.
I
see what you're saying, but
because it'd be like if no one bought Switch and then they were like, all right, it's coming back to Wii U, then you'd be like, well, I'm not gonna go buy a Switch just because
I would though.
What?
Wait, what's kind of like to Wii U?
I'm trying to come up with yeah. It's like the thing you needed to play this game you don't need anymore, so you don't need to get it. So
right.
don't
I
get
see
it.
what you're saying.
But that's the news. I mean
This
that's the
that's
section.
the updates and
So-
know-hows.
That's another episode of Saves Together in the can. How do we do?
I'm gonna give us a 3.7. Same
Dude.
rating I gave Sacred World
That's
Legends.
fucked up, dude. We
You
got
know-
a 5.000, 5.001.
That's illegal. That's an illegal score.
Come at
That's
me,
like
cops.
dividing by
Arrest
zero.
me. Put me in jail for
The
it.
division cops are gonna
The div-
arrest you.
Oh no,
Yeah,
the math cops.
the math cops.
That'd be a good game. I'd play that.
I wouldn't.
Freeze! You tried to multiply by 0 or something. What's the one
Divide
you
by
can't do?
0. I
Yeah,
just
you can't do that.
that.
Freeze, you tried to
That's
add,
the one thing you can do.
you tried to say over 100%, and people get real mad when you do that.
There's probably more than one thing you can't do in math, but I'm not
No.
good at math.
Only one thing. You can't
Only
divide
one.
by 0. And
All
you
right.
can't. Well, there's 2. You can't divide by 0. You can't say something is 110%.
Well, with that, I think that calls it.
Hey, that calls it. Thanks for listening, guys. Find us on Twitter. That's the most important one. We talked about it. We had an email. And we
Yeah.
were like, wait a minute, why do we have an email? Just DM us.
Yeah, we decided emails are for old people and that we are the new millennial generation that
Wow.
needs to move to the DMs. So slide in our DMs and
But
send
don't
us-
slide into them. Don't do the thing the context
Yeah,
of sliding
slide
into
our
them.
DMs.
Keep your clothes on, folks. Keep your clothes on.
Wait, what does that do with clothes?
Hey, you don't know what happens
I don't.
inside
The
the
DMs.
slid DMs. So, but you can listen to this podcast on YouTube. We put up the episodes like I want to do like a week later,
Mhm.
just to and
Bi-weekly.
encourage the people to know. It'll be like it'll
Oh,
launch
after
on
right.
iTunes, Google Play, podcast stuff,
Right, and then afterwards on YouTube.
and then afterwards on YouTube. Just
So we're
'cause-
on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play.
But then through that, we're also on. No, we're on other stuff. Podcast FM. What do I use? Pocket Casts.
Well, that's
Pod
through.
Bay.
Isn't that through?
No, you have to submit to some. It's
okay.
been weird. I'm learning about podcasts.
Yeah, we're
You're
learning.
about
It's a
podcasts.
learning. There should be a podcast about making a podcast.
Yo, there is. There has
there
to be.
has to be
There
like
is.
at least 6.
There's probably 10 and a half.
There's already like 10 podcasts about co-op gaming. Probably just don't know about.
Shut up. This is the number one
This
podcast.
is the only podcast
all
about
about
co-op
co-op
gaming.
games and gaming together and saving together. Because if you save together, you stay together, and you know what that means. We're out of here.
Bye.